Hey everybody, just figured I'd take a moment to let's take a break from the 18650 battery extraction videos. I want to tell you guys about a little something that happened back in December. This hasn't to do with computers and technology, but I want to get this out to you guys who are subscribed to the computer channel because so many more people subscribe here to this channel than do BikeGeekMTDX, my other channel. So anyways, I was out on the evening of December 19th, 2016. Just got out of work and decided it was the last day I had to work for that year before the Christmas holiday break. That's how I do some elevator videos throughout Charlotte, Center City, Charlotte, and one of my stops was Presbyterian Medical Center, the hospital I was born in almost 26 years ago. And I have been there numerous times to do videos of the elevators there. So anyways, this happened. This is around 7 p.m. December 19th, 2016. I decided to do a machine room listen to the parking deck elevators, the public parking deck elevators at Presbyterian Hospital. It's on the north wing of the hospital. I literally walked into the parking deck from outside from 5th Street, went up the elevator to the 7th floor, and in order to listen to this machine room, had to go into the the stairway that's right next to the elevators, and had to walk up one floor because what they did is they added on an additional floor on top of the parking deck. So this stairway was originally just like sort of like the fire escape stairway, what still is in a way. But a lot of people had to, a lot of the nurses and staff walk up these stairs to this 8th landing where there's a doorway where you can access the 8th floor, which, by the way, you have to have a smart card to get in. There's a smart card reader right over there where they have to swipe their cards in order to unlock the door and get in. So it's not like anybody can just walk in. So anyways, I walk up the stairs to this 8th floor level, and this is as far as I can walk up the stairs. The machine room for the elevator is one flight of stairs up. So I stand there with my camera, filming toward the machine room, listening to the sounds. Okay, so a few nurses come walking up. And first nurse, if I remember right, she didn't even say a word. She just swiped her card, went to the door, and that was it. The next couple of nurses that walked up asked me what I was doing. Well, they asked me like, "Where do you work?" And I didn't tell them where I was working because that's not their business. I mentioned that I'm just listening to the machine room. One of my hobbies is elevators and such. So, and they seem to blow it off like it's, no big deal. Swipe their card, walk in the door closes. 5 minutes later, hospital security comes out there to meet me. And I tell you guys, I am so sick and tired of talking about this. I mean, it's not that I've repeated over and over again or anything like that. It's just. So yeah, guys, it's just kind of hard. It makes me angry when I talk about this because I was so fed up with the whole situation. Now I'm not really wanting to discuss or narrate what exactly happened with security, but it was very, very unfair how this whole thing was handled. I was not there to cause any sort of problem or anything, but they literally kicked me out and threatened me with arrest if I came back with my camera. That's to put it in a short way. So anyways, here is the video from BikeGeekMTDX. I explain, I do a much better job explaining everything in detail because I shot this video the night it happened. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Everybody, tonight is December 19th, 2016, and today has been very eventful. I have to say it's been very eventful. It started out on a good note. For example, they were modernizing the elevator in the Central High building at Central Piedmont Community College. And thanks to Southern Elevator, I have got some parts off of it. Like this Innovation Call Station. Innovation Security Call Station. I'm actually going to get all three of them I got 2 now, and Southern's going to get the 3rd one for me. Got a few miscellaneous things as well. But that was, this morning and this evening, for the most part, have been very eventful on a positive note. Every year, every year, around this time of December, when my place of work, closes for the rest of the year, I have a little ritual of going around Charlotte and filming elevators in places other than the college. So I filmed in a few places today, including the Sheraton Hotel, the parking deck at the Sheraton Hotel, 4th Street parking, and I filmed a few places at Presbyterian Medical Center. And let me tell you guys, what happened at Presbyterian Medical Center is just absolutely embarrassing and appalling. Of course, I was born in Presbyterian Hospital. I was born in Presbyterian Hospital 25 years ago, and it's been one of my favorite places to go film elevators in Charlotte. Of many places, there are a lot of interesting elevators in Presbyterian Hospital. But let me tell you guys, what happened tonight, as I mentioned, is absolutely appalling and embarrassing, very embarrassing. So, anyways, after I got finished filming at some places in Center City, I decided to walk on up to Presbyterian Hospital. Even helped a guy who was handicapped get him inside the hospital. He was in a wheelchair. Helped roll him into the hospital. I think he was a guest. I don't know. But anyways, went in there and went straight to Presbyterian Medical Tower to do some videos of the Dover elevators in that part of the hospital. And had some issues with one of them. Nearly got stuck in it, but I filmed the elevators and the medical tower, and I went and filmed the elevators and medical tower parking deck, and I decided straight from there, I decided to walk all the way over to the main parking deck on the northern side of the hospital, and I actually did the walk outside. I crossed behind the hospital, walked outside, walked over to the parking deck, because the parking deck has some 1991 Otis Series 1 traction elevators that I think are relay controlled and another DC traction. And I actually was there. I was actually there back in July or so. I did some videos back then, but this weren't that great. And I decided, since I have my PlayTouch camera, I'd go back and redo the videos of the machine room. Now, of course, it's just a machine room listen. So, anyways, here's where things get a little iffy. The parking deck, sometime back when, I guess in the mid-2000s, had an 8th level added onto it, and it's employees only. And to access it, you actually have to go into the stairwell, the MPE, as some people call it, the stairwell, and go and actually walk up there. Employees have to have their badge to get into the door that's up there. And otherwise, it's the only thing else that's up there is a machine room for the elevator. So I'm standing there, I'm standing there on the 8th floor landing, because as far as you can go, there's a gate there. Listening in on the machine room, a very busy machine room up there. And about, 5 minutes in, a few nurses walk up, and, a lot of times if people walk up the stairs, it makes a lot of noise, so I cut recording. And I stand there and I wait, patiently wait. I don't think I was causing any problems. I've filmed in Presbyterian for several years, filmed the elevators in Presbyterian, and I've never had any issues at all. So anyways, they're asking me what I'm doing, and one of these ladies is standing there with the door open, and because the door's open, it sounds off to a little alarm, and it's have a hard time hearing her, and she had a hard time hearing me, but eventually the alarm quit, and I explained that, I'm just listening on a machine, and elevators are one of my hobbies. I'm just here with my camera, listening into the machine room. So they walk in, and the door closes, and I think, okay, everything's okay. With some peace and quiet, nobody in the stairway. So I'm gonna listen here to the machine room, get some footage of the relays clicking and the generators and whatnot. Next thing I know, Novant Security opens the door, walks out there to where I'm standing, and he literally walks out to where I'm standing, and then asks me what are you doing?
And I try to explain this. I'm here listening to Machine Room. And it was just very difficult to really even cooperate with him, and explain the situation. And I was calm the whole time. I got the vast majority of this on video. I got almost the entire situation on video, and you're going to see it here shortly. So he ironically walks me into the area, that is access control, where employees have to, use their badge to get in. Wearing the cast. I was out in the stairwell, not causing any problems. So yeah, he goes to explain, that I'm an authorized area, which of course, yeah, you brought me into this place where they have to have access to get in. Yeah, now I'm in an unauthorized area to speak with you. But presumably, the stairway of the parking deck, you would think, would not be an issue. And he interrupted me several freaking times while I'm trying to explain. He kept interrupting me and kept asking, like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? It's like, they fail to understand that, when, I explained that I was shooting video or listening to Machine Room, and just one ear out the other. It's like it doesn't even occur to them that's something people can do. People actually do. Yeah. Newsflash, there's actually a hobby called, there's actually a hobby with elevators. And of course, elevators are one of my many hobbies. And I know it's kind of a unique hobby. But anyways, let's go ahead and start the video, and I'll continue after you watch this video. You're going to love this.
So anyways, here I'm walking into the parking deck elevators, the elevator lobby. These 1991 Otis Series 1s. And you'll see some others walk in as well, waiting on the elevator. These are very busy, by the way. Very busy elevators. So we get on this elevator here. Now what's really odd here is they put in calls for intermediate floors, and they completely bypassed their calls and went straight to 7. As you can see, common trait that I do if there's others in the elevator, I point the camera down. Point it down. You can see this thing, it completely bypasses the floors they selected. That was really weird.
Did it cancel their calls? That's weird. I knew they selected floors. Anyways, let's continue on. It's a 1991 Otis traction elevator install. We'll have to listen to the Machine Room. You can hear DC generators going.
Okay, so you see that door on the left on the stairs there? That's the door that accesses the 8th floor for employees.
As far as we can go, but you can have a listen. These might be relay controlled.
Yeah, I would definitely say they're relay controlled. Not sure if it's relay logic though. But wow, you can definitely hear the sound of those generators going.
It carries too. We may see some staff come up these stairs because they do not have an elevator to this 8th floor. It's staff only. That's what you call an ADA compliance fail.
So as you saw, that nurse didn't say a single word to me. She just walked right on in, no problems. But here come some other nurses, and I think these were the ones, if I remember right, these were the ones who questioned me. So here come the other nurses, the ones who questioned me. I stopped recording the camera because I was just going to start recording back when a noise settled in the stairway. Okay, so the first nurse there walked in and the door closed. But when the other nurses followed, about 30 seconds later, around that time, if even that, those were the ones that questioned me. And when I looked over, the first nurse was still standing right there inside the door. So anyways, I unfortunately stopped recording. I wish I'd have had this on video, just to show you guys. Because I was not told to stop filming. Yeah, they questioned what I was doing, and they, for some reason, questioned where I worked. But otherwise, they did not tell me to stop what I was doing. So this is where I started recording back and got at least I think a couple minutes of peace and quiet listening to the machine room up there with this pretty busy elevator. But it's not very long until I get greeted with Mr. Security in kind of a bad way. So in actuality, it was about 5 minutes until security walked out. And for you elevator enthusiasts out there, this will give you the opportunity to enjoy the sounds of this busy Otis machine up there. Hard to believe I'll be treated like a criminal for just standing out here listening to that thing and just recording it. Yeah, it's crazy. Standing outside in the parking deck stairway next to what was, as presumably thought were his offices. How you doing, sir?
What are you doing?
Listen to the elevator machine room.
Come on up here. Come on out here.
Sure.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
My name is Nick.
What are you doing here, Nick?
Just listen to the elevator machine room.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because I have an interest in elevators.
Why are you doing it after everybody's been telling you this is a authorized entrance only for employees? Did they not tell you that?
No, sir. I know
No
this
nurse
here.
has told you
Yes,
that.
we have multiple times.
This.
Okay, nurses, from the way it looks right now, y'all are telling a fib to this security man. Y'all have not told me several times to stop what I'm doing. I no. At least I didn't hear it. Perhaps if y'all didn't stand in the doorway and have the alarm going beep, 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 beep the whole time, maybe I would have heard you a little better. Perhaps if you did say something, maybe it's because I did not hear it. Really, seriously, if somebody's going to tell me to stop filming, I'm going to put the camera up until the matter is resolved. If somebody asks me to stop what I'm doing, I'm going to stop.
Here,
Come
this, listen, sir.
Come
This
on.
here, I'm not trying to
Are
get
you
into
authorized to
There
be
you gotta
here?
Not in this room, but the stairway is. I'm in the stairway
How you figure that you're authorized to be in the stairwell?
because I didn't have to go around in the access and control to get to it.
What for?
If you look on YouTube.com/.
What are you here for?
I'll explain.
Well,
it
how
again.
about if you stop interrupting
Shoot
me?
videos of elevators. I've been doing this for years.
Well, then
sir.
you hadn't had prior authorization to do that from us, have you? This is authorized personnel only. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Do you understand that part?
Yes, sir. I understand. Right here, this door.
Right. Do you understand that? So you understand that you're not authorized personnel, right?
I know. Listen, sir. I understand. I'm not supposed to be in this room. Now, if I was trying to get to this doorway, I understand if you. I would just listen to me.
Yeah.
Now, if I was trying to get into this door, I could totally understand your concern.
Send me OIC.
But if I'm out there just listening to the machine room of the elevator, not causing any problems for anybody, I don't see why it's a problem.
Stairwell
You have to
37,
understand
A
this
floor.
is a sensitive area.
Yeah.
I mean,
What are
this
you
is-
doing back here to begin with?
Listening to the
Are
machine room.
you in this area for anybody that's in this hospital?
No, sir. I'm just here listening, doing videos of
This is
elevators.
the authorized personnel only and the authorized patients only. This is a labor and delivery department. If you don't have any business here, you shouldn't be here. Do you understand that part?
Yes, sir. I do. But listen.
You are
to,
on
listen-
private property.
Just listen to me.
Private property.
Yes,
If
sir.
you are not a patient, or if you're not here visiting a patient, you have no business here whatsoever. When you come in and you start taking photographs and you start videoing stuff, that makes us get tense. You understand that? For no reason, you shouldn't even be here at all. Now, what are we to think when you're in here doing stuff like that?
I can understand your point. I have.
You understand that you can be arrested right now for being for trespassing.
Trespassing.
This is private property. Everybody thinks hospitals are public property and they can do whatever they want to do. That's not the case. You are on private property. You are taking videos and you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing on private property. That's an arrestable offense because you're trespassing. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you want to try to explain to me why you would even be here?
But listen, I've done these kinds of videos.
Okay,
for
well, come
years.
on out. Let's get you out of here first and begin with. Come with me.
I'll be glad to leave. I just want to explain.
You are leaving. Come on.
Okay. I'll be glad
Walk
to
straight
leave,
for
sir.
me.
I'll be glad to leave.
Thank you, ladies.
It's my concern, as I have spoken with security here many times, never had a problem.
Who have you spoken with?
I don't know the exact names, but I've been coming here for years to do
Well,
these videos.
if you were doing something like that, I believe I'd be getting names, don't you think? Of who told you that you could do stuff?
I just never had it. Listen, sir.
You never had a what?
Just listen carefully. Just listen carefully. Anytime I come into a hospital or whatnot
224
to do these videos,
Oh, I see.
I totally respect people's privacy. I do not film patients or anything like that.
We're coming back out to the main desk.
It's kind of a shame the hospital I was born
That's
in.
typical.
It's kind of a shame the hospital I was born in. I get treated like this for doing.
No, what's kind
innocent
of a
video.
shame is that you shouldn't even be here.
Really, sir? Really? How freaking unprofessional. That's the way to really make security guards look bad. You should be ashamed of yourself. After a comment like that,
You have no business in here. You understand that?
I mean, I've come
Okay,
to
we're out of the sensitive area. Do you understand what I'm telling you? That is an area not for just everybody. Do you understand that?
correct. I can understand where your point is, but if I'm in the parking deck, listening to a machine in an elevator, not causing problems for anybody.
What the problem is that you're in a sensitive area that's for authorized users only, videotaping, going from floor to floor. I was told that you were over on the 7th floor too, doing the same thing.
Okay, so apparently the 7th floor means the 7th floor of the parking deck? I mean, seriously, I wouldn't have known the 7th floor of the building. Come on now. The only places I've been were practically the Presbyterian Medical Tower, and it's the Medical Tower parking deck, and then I come over and done the parking deck at the main hospital.
There are signs up everywhere that tells you that this is authorized personnel only. 2 nurses have told you that it's authorized personnel only, and you don't belong there.
Okay, security officer, you're acting like I have been walking all through the 8th floor, all through the delivery areas. Come on now. I was in the stairway of the parking deck, you know, where there used to not be an 8th floor on that area. Yeah, you know, that area, that's where people park their cars. Guests park their cars and employees park their cars. I mean, seriously, it's the stairway to the parking deck.
The point is that you ignore them, and you're still in there videotaping.
Ignore who? Ignore who? I wasn't told to stop what I was doing. They asked me what I was doing, and I told them what I was doing, but I was not asked to stop.
That makes us nervous.
Well, officer, you know what makes me a little nervous? Now, as I mentioned, somebody is telling a lie here. And this is a hospital, you know. A lot of times your life depends on them. And somebody is going to tell a lie like this? I mean, seriously. Now, if they perhaps told me, it's because I did not hear them, because an alarm was going off when they had the door open. I even asked them, like, why is the alarm going off? And then when they silenced the alarm, they asked me what was I doing. I told them I was filming the machine, listening to the machine room of the elevator. And yeah, they asked me, like, you know, where do I work? And now, of course, I did not actually tell them where I work because that was irrelevant information. And I said, listen, I'm just here, it's a hobby, just filming the elevator. That's all I'm doing. And then they walked in, they walked away, and then all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, oh, here he comes. But listen, sir,
Do you understand that?
I understand, but listen.
With everything that's going on in the world, and you're in here with a video recorder, recording stairwells and emergency exits for authorized people only, that makes us nervous. Do you understand that point?
I can understand your point. Just listen carefully. I'll be honest with you. Those nurses, I never heard that you cannot film here. They asked me what I was doing to shoot me the elevators, and they left me alone.
Nobody's told you that you couldn't be back there.
Yes, sir. Nobody has told me I could not be back there.
Well, when I have 2 or 3 different nurses come up and tell me that they've told you not to be back there, that's a different story. You understand that? And you're giving them probably the...
It was highly unfortunate at this point, but I stopped the camera because I was going to show him some footage to review, but then I realized, oh yeah, earlier, I stopped recording because I heard a bunch of noise in the stairwell, and I was going to let the nurses, you know, go up to what I presumably had thought was their offices. And then once the stairwell noise cleared out, I'd resume recording like I had did. It's highly unfortunate because here's where things got a little bit interesting. You hear what his officer said. He presumably thought, you know, that they probably got the same kind of crap that he got from me. That's bull. That's bull. Those 3 nurses, if I can remember this correctly, those 3 or 4 nurses. The first nurse, as you heard in the video, walked up the stairway, beep, run the card, open the door, walk through, door closes, and then about 15 seconds later or so, here come the other ones. And those are the ones that actually speak to me. The first one did not even say a word. But yeah, right as the time backup arrives, this officer here, he basically tells me that, you know, if I come back to this hospital, you know, unless, you know, it's I need to go to hospital or I'm here to visit somebody, they're going. And if I'm filming with my camera, filming the the elevators or whatnot, they're going to arrest me. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. I was threatened to be arrested for filming an elevator machine room from the back stairway of the parking deck at Presbyterian Medical Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, anyways, comes the part where the first officer has a second backup officer. Yeah, it called him backup because that was a very tense situation. The video camera is very hazardous. But a big hats off to the second officer. He was calm. He was cool. He understood the situation, and and unlike this first guy who would just interrupt me and Mr. Know-it-all apparently. I mean, this guy was down to earth. He understood my situation, and I'm thinking if he was there the whole time, I could have been a little bit more calm. And when those nurses said that, they told me several times, I would have said something right then, because I mean, unless they said it and I did not hear it because of the little alarm going off, they told a lie. And I really, honestly, I hate it. I honestly hate accusing somebody of lying. And I mean, that's not something I like to do. So, anyways, give me a second to cool down because I mean, as I mentioned, a big hats off to the second officer. He handled things a whole lot better than this first guy. And I think the second guy's name was Bo King, if I remember right. He told me his name was Bo, and I saw his name badge. Then the first guy, I did not even see the name badge, and there's an obvious reason why I did not point the camera up and film their faces, because they probably would have asked me to put the camera away. And had I put the camera away, I would have not had any evidence here at all. So here is the additional footage. Oh, well, looky here, it's the ThyssenKrupp elevators over at the Women's Center. Yeah, I filmed these twice over the years, but it looks like I'm going to get to film again, so hope you guys enjoyed the previous videos. Hey, sir. Who can I speak with regarding this matter, like the hospital management? Because I honestly, just like I told him, I'm not trying to cause problems for anybody here.
No, you have to understand it's a hospital. You got sensitive stuff going on. You know that if you were filming any patients or anything like that, then it's a HIPAA violation. That's a federal offense.
Okay.
So this is just not the appropriate place.
Y'all have a good night.
You're more than welcome to call the hospital tomorrow during business hours.
Okay.
And they can answer any questions you might have. But for tonight, we're going to have to ask you to leave.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm trying to work with you as best I can, because I understand with the hobby and all that stuff, but you have to understand our point of view too. We have to try to keep everybody safe.
And you seem to be a lot more understanding than he was.
Yes, sir.
He was just like, just threatening to arrest me. That's not right. I mean, especially, and I can understand with all the stuff that goes on in the world today. I can understand your concern.
Uh-huh.
But I was not causing problems for anybody at all. And I have not been told to leave by any nurses. I have not been told by any nurses that to stop filming.
Okay.
And this being on the 7th floor, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. I mean, the only other place I was in tonight was the medical tower to do a video over there, and the medical tower parking deck. That's the only other places I've been tonight, sir. So I don't know where he's coming from with this 7th floor thing.
Well, our whole thing is we try to limit any traffic through the hospital.
Because
I mean, even visitors, if you're just kind of hanging out and you're a visitor for somebody else, if you're just kind of lingering around and not here for your intended purpose.
Right. I can understand.
You got to think of how many people come in and out of the hospital
every
on
day.
a consistent basis. You know what I mean?
Right. I understand. I mean, I've come up here on several occasions just to go to the cafeteria.
Right.
And whatnot. And I've come here for years and I've never had any problems.
Yeah.
And anytime I do these videos, I try to respect people's privacy. You know, if I'm filming an elevator and suddenly a doctor brings a patient, I cut the camera off because to respect their privacy.
Right.
And I feel that it's just very unfair. I can understand your point of view. You understand my point of view. You know, as a videographer, this ain't the first time I have been told to leave a building.
Right.
And
I get that.
and I mean, it's just, and this is the hospital I was born in.
Yeah.
That's why it hurts at the core. That the own hospital I was born in throws me out for filming elevators. Something I've been doing for years.
And I get that, but like I said, I mean, it kind of falls along our security guidelines. We have to. I mean, our number one concern is everybody's safety in the hospital.
I understand.
If there's no purpose, I get that you're videotaping or recording or whatever, and I get that.
Yeah.
But the fewer people that we can have in there,
Right.
you know, the better.
Yeah.
Because our primary concern is the patients, and they're
Correct.
getting better and everything else.
That's-
and I know that
that's-
sounds like a BS excuse.
No, it's not. It's not a BS excuse. I understand that's the biggest concern of a hospital is the patients.
Right.
But I mean, for him to say I was not authorized to be in that area, I can understand if I breached access control when I was in that stairway. The access control was on the door, right? I've had this conversation with one person before in a similar situation where I was doing a video in the elevator, and they tried to kick me out because I was in their office when I never stepped out of the elevator.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so unfair.
And you also have to understand where you're at too. You're in the labor delivery place.
I didn't know
that.
I did not know what that was. I thought that was just office space for
Yeah.
nurses. I didn't know that was delivery.
Yeah. So, and then his concern with that is, you know, we do have people that come in and try to take babies and things like that, and they try to look for points of exit and points of
I
entrance.
totally understand your point of view.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not know. I knew this area here was like the birthplace, but I did not know
Right.
that the top part of the parking deck was kind of the same area. I did not know that.
Yeah, man. Oh, thank you.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, there've been times where I've run a security before, and they never seemed to have a problem with it. When maybe they didn't realize, maybe because I had normally film with my phone and not this thing.
Right.
Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. This would be the first time in years I come up here with an actual video camera.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the first time I shot video in this hospital was probably 2014. So it's about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've come up here on many occasions and done videos in front of doctors, in front of nurses,
Right.
and even security nearby. Never had any problems.
Well, I hate that you kind of had a bad experience. My suggestion to you would be to call administration tomorrow. You can call the hospital number. I think it's and that gives you a switchboard, and they can connect you to administration.
Okay.
And you can talk to them.
Because I had most of this conversation on video, by the way.
Oh, that's fine.
And you have cooperated. If you handled the whole situation, it would have panned out a whole lot better.
Right.
Because he was just like all over me, like I breached access control or something. I respect access control and things like that.
I get that, and our guys try to be as objective as possible. I mean, that's his sole duty right now is to make sure that nothing's happening in the women's center, especially in the sensitive area to where we're not. Somebody's in there looking for ingress or egress routes out of the hospital, in the labor and delivery. So, and I get your point of view too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. That's just so embarrassing, and it just freaks me out. Like I don't even want to come to this hospital anymore for any reason. To be threatened to be arrested if I show up again.
Well, and
That's just can't really comment on it. It's just I just don't know, sir. I mean,
well, and I hate to hear that. And like I said, my best advice would be to call administration tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And talk to them and kind of get some guidance on them. Because then, in turn, I think the next time you show up, if we have any problems or anything like that, you can say, hey, look, I talked to this person, they told me this, and I talked to them on this date, and we can go from there.
Okay. because I'll call administration and speak with them, and I'm hopefully I can get clearance to do videos.
Right.
And in a case like that, I think he needs to apologize for the kind of way he handled the situation. I understand his concern and his side of the point, but that was a little over the edge, considering, and I can understand in a case like that, you probably want to side with the nurses more. The nurses say one thing, but I have not been asked to leave by any nurses or asked to stop filming by any nurses at all.
And to be completely objective on this whole situation too.
Yeah.
He is prior law enforcement, so he knows more of the in-depth rules and laws of the hospital than anybody else.
Right.
So I almost guarantee you that if law enforcement showed up in response to this call,
Yeah.
that they probably would have given you the same spiel that he just gave you.
Probably.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, I try to look at it.
I try my best to respect law enforcement and things like that. You
Right.
know, but it's like I mentioned, I was just in there doing video of the machine room of the elevator, and I try. Anytime I do these videos, I try to look out after the hospital's equipment. Like I was going to call Novant because they got an issue with the elevator and the medical tower messing up.
Yeah.
And one time they had a machine room that was unlocked, and I reported to you guys about it. I said I just happened to be over in this area and I saw this machine room was unlocked, and I try to look out after things in if any building I'm in, if I see a problem or whatnot.
Right. Well, we appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, what's your name, sir?
I'm Bo.
Bo?
Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you. I'm Nick.
Nice to meet you too.
I really appreciate talking to you. You've handled this a whole lot better, I think.
Well, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do my best.
Yeah, you handled it well, I think.
Well, thank you.
But I'm definitely going to speak with the administration because that was
Okay.
that was a little over the edge.
Well, I apologize for that.
That's okay.
All right, Nick. Have a good night.
Same to you. It's okay. You got to see that last part of footage, and I shook the officer's hand. He was very, very kind and cooperative. I had to give a big thumbs up to Officer Bo King. I think that's his name. He was very, very cooperative in this matter, and he was willing to understand my situation. I've been doing elevator photography for about the past 3 years. 2 of the last 3 years has involved a little bit of Presbyterian Hospital. I don't go there very often to shoot videos. It may be once or twice a year, maybe 3 times, but not very often. I'll be honest with you, back in 2015, I went there twice a week to see at the cafeteria. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, the hospital I was born in would literally treat me like this. And to make matters worse, I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of what got me interested in elevators at the hospital, my grandmother was in the hospital in 2012, and she passed away there in Presbyterian Hospital. And one bit of therapy that seemed to have been very beneficial for me. A lot of times if you have a loved one who passes away in the hospital, if you're anywhere near that hospital, a lot of times you would have, moments of extreme sadness or depression. And I have sort of used my hobby in elevators to sort of wipe that away, sort of, in a way. It's terrible to lose a loved one. And, it's kind of hard to explain, I'll be honest with you. So I started, doing videos in the hospital, at the elevators. Not shooting videos like in the hospital, like not in rooms or in the not like out just going through the entire hospital with the camera rolling. I don't do that crap. I just, my videos are basically there at the elevators, and not really much else than that. Now, if I didn't mention this already, this is not my first time running into hospital security there, and all my previous run-ins were very positive. What's funny is there was some security I think is more over in the Pinnacle Tower, They refer to me, this woman, she referred to me as Elevator Man because I shot videos of the Dover elevators in the medical tower. And she had only sent me one other time, and this was months before this particular time that she had called me Elevator Man. She knew what I was doing, and I mean, and you know, I had always had the impression that, you know, as long as you're not causing any problems, there shouldn't be an issue. I mean, you know, as I mentioned, hospitals can be sort of a gray area. I've always looked at it as long as you respect the privacy of patients. You know, don't be filming around patients. You know, don't be filming in like clinical areas and whatnot. As long as you respect the privacy and, you know, don't interfere with hospital operation, should be fine. That's the way I'd always thought about it. And you can look on my channel, BikeGeekMTDX, and find dozens and dozens of videos. Heck, I still have some videos that are still sitting in file that I haven't uploaded yet from back in the summer. Yeah, I've shot videos there, and I'm not the only person who has shot videos of elevators in Presbyterian. And this guy, I mean, telling me things that, you know, you was told by this and such that you're not allowed to film here.
Oh, and let's not forget these nurses that made the impression to the security man that, like, they each one by one, you know, told me at different times, you need to stop filming, you need to quit this, and you quit. I mean, seriously, just make it look like I have refused to comply to orders. I mean, I just don't even know what to say here. I'm just aggravated about that. I am just so freaking aggravated.
And, you know, pretty much criticizing me and not getting the names of security people who have, you know, have told. Well, they didn't actually tell me it was okay to film that. I mean, they didn't actually mention you can film, but they didn't. But on the flip side, they have not mentioned that I can't film. You know, and I think I made them pretty well aware of what I was doing. Probably the only difference between tonight's visit and every previous visit to Presbyterian to film videos of elevators was that I used my smartphone to film all the previous videos. Now, this time around, I was filming with the camera I'm shooting video with right now. This thing. You can see it. My Play Touch. And it does look kind of odd because it has lithium-ion batteries on the front of it. But, you know, it's a video camera. And it seems like, I'll be honest with you, it seems like if you have a camera in possession, that's when the crap hits the fan. You can have one of these around. Apparently, it sounds like it's okay. You know, all these policies, no film policies and whatnot. You do realize that most people have a smartphone in possession. They have cameras in their pockets. I guarantee you, probably 80% of the people in the building have a camera right there in the pocket. It's in the smartphone. But yeah, as I mentioned, 4 years ago, my grandmother passed away in that hospital, and I have always, it's seemed like elevators. Shooting videos of the elevators in the hospital has been sort of a way to wipe away the sadness of what happened in that hospital back in 2012. And to be freaking told that, if you come back here again with your camera, you're going to be freaking arrested. Seriously. Come on now, photography is not a crime. Why is it treated as such? That's what I don't get. Why is it treated as a crime? It is absolutely unfair, I think. So unfair. And I just don't know how much to say at this point. That was just, the nurses were like, were literally apparently treating me like I was really a threat to the hospital. And I'll be honest with you, if this whole matter is resolved on a positive note, meaning I can come back and film elevators, I would like an apology from that first officer and possibly those nurses for how they handled the situation. I can understand being in their shoes, somebody with a camera filming is in kind of a different area. I can understand the concerns, and you heard the concerns that the second officer had mentioned, and I totally understand his point of view, and he even hated it for the fact that I was in the situation, because I think he understood what I was doing, and it wasn't it wasn't really, I wasn't causing problems, not at all, not at all. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's really freaking ridiculous. So anyways, that's the story of me getting kicked out of the hospital for, well, I feel, innocently filming an elevator.
So anyways, to go and end this video, I'll be honest with you. I am a person of forgiving. So, I'm going to actually be contacting the hospital administration tomorrow to see if we can get this matter resolved. And I'm going to show them this video, so if you're watching this video, and both of you officers, and especially the first one, the second officer, like I mentioned, you done fantastic. First officer, not so sure about. And the nurses, that's really disappointing. You would make it look like, y'all had told me to leave several times, because that simply was not the case. That was not the case. I was just simply there trying to mind my own business, doing something I like to do. I come to this place earlier in the summer, and actually come to the same exact spot. However, the stairway was very busy. Lots of people going in between the 8th floor there and the parking deck. So I decided to not even post that footage. I came back to do as I mentioned, I went to come in the hospital. On my way into the hospital, a man was in a wheelchair struggling to get up the hill. I pushed him into the hospital to help him out. And I went out straight from the front entrance, which, by the way, I saw signs on the front entrance that said no weapons or no soliciting. Went to the hospital, made an immediate right, took the G elevator up to the 2nd floor, went over to the Presbyterian Medical Tower, done videos of the Dover elevators there, and then went over to the Medical Tower Parking Deck, done videos of those elevators, and then I left the parking deck, crossed 4th Street, walked behind the hospital, between the orthopedic hospital and the main hospital, walked in between those, walked all the way over on foot over to 5th Street, and from 5th Street walked into the parking deck there, the main parking deck for the main part of the hospital. And that's why I started recording at earlier in this video. So to tell these officers that they had already told me times before, like I had already been, in different parts of the building I had been told not to do this, that's ridiculous. And like I mentioned already, it tears me up to even accuse somebody of lying. That's just wrong. But as I mentioned, if this matter gets resolved, I'm always a person of forgiving. However, my opinions on this hospital have been damaged greatly, and it's really sad that the hospital I was born in at 2.5 pounds 8 weeks early, born in, and spent a long period of time in the NICU. This hospital is probably the reason why I'm here. And to come back, many years later, to do videos of the elevators, not shooting video of any patients at all, just doing what I like doing, shooting videos of elevators. You may think it's a weird hobby. Just look on YouTube. You'll find lots of other people who do it. You'd be surprised. And it seems to be common for those who have Asperger's like I do. It seems to be there seems to be a trend. A lot of those who are in elevators have a tendency to have Asperger's syndrome. Also, as I mentioned, September 2012 was extremely rough for me. My grandmother passed away in the ICU
in Presbyterian, and I work just down from the hospital. You can imagine, there's lots of times where I would experience major sadness of what happened at that hospital. I lost my beloved grandmother. She passed away there in the hospital. And soon later, I took up elevators as a hobby, and I started filming elevators in the hospital as sort of a way to erase the bad memories of the hospital. I mean, this whole situation should not have happened the way it happened. I mean, I was not there trying to cause problems for anybody. I was not even in the women's center. I was in the stairway, come up from the 7th floor of the parking deck, rode the elevator and parking deck up to the 7th floor, and then walked up the stairs a little ways. That 8th floor used to not be there on that parking deck. That used to not be there. So perhaps back in the 90s, had I come to the same spot, maybe it wouldn't have been such a big problem. But as I mentioned, I'm a person forgiving. However, I think that was extremely, extremely ridiculous. So anyways, just for example, in the following video clip here, this little animation, guess where the elevator audio footage came from? Oh, that's right. One of the elevators in Presbyterian Medical Tower. Anyways, for those of you who are still here, I appreciate you watching into this whole video. Anyways, guys, photography is not a crime. Cameras should not be treated like, they're a real threat. Now, of course, I can understand. I can understand somebody using a video camera for negative means. Like, like this officer had mentioned, I could have been there recording the stairway, just like I was trying to plan an escape route to take somebody's baby. No, of course I would not do such a thing. That's extreme. That is just the lowest of low, for something like that. The whole reason I was in the 8th floor of that stairway was because that's where you could hear the machine room the best. You can hear it somewhat from the 7th floor elevator lobby to the parking deck, but it's just, you can't compare it to the noise you hear there in the stairway. All the clicking is from the relay logic controller, which I do believe is relay logic controlled. And you can hear the generators, you can hear the motors. It's something I enjoy listening to. And it may sound weird to you, but you know what? That's one of my hobbies. So anyways, I guess it's time to go and call it quits. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hey everybody, I sure hope you guys enjoyed this video from Q Computer Channel. Remember to like the video, subscribe to Q Computer Channel for more updates, and remember to tick the bell so that you actually get notified of these updates. Did you know that I am also on a second channel? That's BikeGeekMTDX. Over there you'll find videos of bicycling, weather, elevators, and all sorts of other neat and interesting stuff. Feel free to subscribe to that channel as well. And again, I thank you for your support, and thanks for watching this video.